Good evening, lads, and welcome along to this edition of SportsView on NerdMedia.tv. And I'm just going to say there's one thing I forgot to put up is the information at the end of this. There we go. The information at the end of the program. You can look at the email and the phone number as well. Press the red button on the right hand side, subscribe to our channel. Very much appreciated. Good evening, Joe. How are you?
Good, Pat. How are you?
Very well. Good evening, Derwynne, and welcome.
Hi, boys. How are you?
Now, we have a little treat here for a little girl to open the program. I've got to find where I put it. Congratulations to Isabel Honan. Congratulations to Isabel Honan. All the relations will be looking in. From Harlow Techers Coyotes, the prolific goal scorer and winner of Player of the Month for the second time. I wonder would Amberin give her a shout here in Man United because he's averaging for goals a very local. But well done, Isabel, and very much appreciated. Our colleague Mary was speaking to your mum or dad or both now, but anyway, you were there at the start of the program. We featured her last year as well. Well done, Isabel. Onwards and upwards, and we hope you get what you deserve in your soccer career later on. So there we are now. That was Isabel Honan, and we had European soccer during the week. We had the biggest crowd ever at a League of Ireland soccer match on Sunday. 33,000 attended the opening game in the Electricity League of Ireland between Shamrock Rovers and Bohemians, which was a record. And really, I think, and even all the attendance Friday night football, all the attendance at League of Ireland is up, And I note that Damien Duff added a member of the Liverpool Academy who was substitute twice and Liverpool to his team for the rest of the season here. So there you go. They seem to be looking at League of Ireland for some game time. It's all very good, but the local team, Treaty United, who replaced Limerick FC, Treaty United are playing in the first division. They opened their account last Friday night in the Market Field in Limerick. Joe, you know where we're talking about, Joe, the Market
Right.
Field. They were 2-0 up, and there was 9 minutes left in the match against Cove Ramblers. Cove Ramblers got 3 goals in 9 minutes, and they stole the 3 points, 3-2, from Treaty United. And of course, Cove Ramblers were the first club of Roy Keane when he was starting out. So there you go. And all in all, and they said, but in Europe during the week, I saw most of the soccer during the week. I thought Jude Bellingham was just outstanding the other night for Real Madrid. I thought he was head and shoulders above anybody else on the pitch against Man City for Real Madrid on Wednesday night when they won 3-2. Did you see the match at all?
I missed that one.
Yeah, he was just unbelievable. Anyway, 3-2 they won. They could have won it 5 or 6-2, but they won it 3-2. I suppose you could say Man City are out of the European Cup now.
It's going to be very hard for him. It's definitely going to be very hard for him.
I can't see them winning 2-0.
No, it's a big ask to go to to there and win. Yeah.
Bayern Munich have a 2-1 lead against Celtic, going back to Munich during the week, and I think that'll be tough for Celtic as well. They were looking to get a goal, but there's only 1 goal in it, and it looks like Harry Kane could be out of the match. There's no talk about it, definitely. But there was a cracker during the week, Everton 2, Liverpool 2.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr. Moyes? And they're gone above Man United in the league. Everton, that is. So there you go. He must be having a chuckle to himself.
Well, we've talked about David Moyes numerous times.
We did
on the program here, and how good a manager he is. It's really is no surprise to me that he's gone in there and done such a good job. What he's done there in the short time he's been there has been unbelievable.
Well, I'm no expert in soccer. I just enjoy watching now and managing or anything like that. But for professional soccer players, Man United against who were they playing again? Oh God,
Spurs.
Spurs.
Spurs, sorry. And they were only a tad better than them. It was a terrible, terrible game of soccer between the two teams. I thought myself, it was one of the worst Premiership games I saw this year between Man United and Spurs.
Well, they nicknamed it over here the Desperation Derby.
Thank you, Derwynne. That exactly sums it up.
Do you know? And you sit there, and I'm a United fan, and you're sitting there going, like, Tottenham are not great, are they, at the moment? Like, we
No,
can't say anything about it. But I mean, how many chances are we going to give Onana as a goalkeeper? He palms so many shots back out to the middle of the penalty box. I mean, that's not the first time he's done it when Madison's knocked it in.
for a professional player, soccer player, I'm not Casemiro, for instance. He's on €350,000 a week. He gets the ball. Harry Maguire passed it to him. He gets the ball. He loses the ball to a Tottenham player, and he sits on the ground after losing the ball and stays there while his man with the ball runs the rest of the length of the pitch. He's a professional soccer player on 350 grand a week. I mean, a manager looking at a player like that and his attitude on the field must be saying, what can you do?
Do you know what I don't understand? And Joe, dive in whenever you're ready. He's got a bench full of
Young
players
fellas
have never made a first team debut, right? And United aren't going to win the league. They're not really going to get relegated, are they? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know that. No.
No, but they can't.
It's highly unlikely.
But why aren't you? Why isn't he taking Casemiro off, Fernandez off? Because they were being totally outrun in the midfield. And give those kids a go. Because I mean, what's he got to lose?
Nothing. Only the game again. Yeah.
So he's taken 6 or 7 kids down on the team bus and just leaves them sitting there on the bench when you're like, well, when are you going to play them? Because you keep saying they're good enough to be on the bench. Surely they're good enough to have a game of football. If they're good enough to be on the bench, they've got to be good enough to have a game, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool had I saw the Liverpool match just as well. They beat Wolves 2-1. They got their mandatory penalty as they do in almost in every game in the Premiership. I'm not saying they didn't deserve a penalty. I'm just saying that they're a very lucky team. They got a scrambled goal.
Oh, I don't know. You make your own luck, Joe.
And they got a penalty. But that goal for Wolves by your man Canuna was brilliant. It was a fabulous goal.
That was a very good goal. But, Derwynne is right in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I know that.
You kind of make your own look. But, to be fair, I thought the penalty was... I thought it was generous, to say the least. And I think that Diaz... and the standard of refereeing, I'm sorry, but I'm watching it again this weekend. I'm watching guys get pulled back by the shoulder from behind, and the referee gives a foul and books a guy for pulling him back. And then in this game, I see Diaz push the Wolves right back in the back, and takes him out of the play, and there's nothing called. It's when play on.
He gets a penalty for falling in the back.
Yeah, so I don't understand it, And then he tried to give him a second penalty that was overruled, and I mean, Diaz gets the penalty because he drags his right leg and makes contact with the goalkeeper. I mean, the ball has gone past the goalkeeper. Diaz is not catching it, and he knows it's not.
The ball is going wide. It's actually the ball is taking it wide. Yeah. I mean,
Joe, he didn't even get booked for that, did he?
No.
And that was diving, whatever way we want to frame it.
Yeah.
It was him professionally diving and trying to. He put his foot to the player,
Right.
and the ref doesn't even book him for it.
Right.
And you got that Liverpool fullback who had got a yellow, and then he jumped for a ball. I don't think he was trying to take the guy out, but anywhere else, if that had been in midfield, that would have been a free kick to Wolves, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
And you look at it and you kind of go, well, anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick. Yet this is a penalty situation. And I don't think he was aiming at the guy, but I think it was clumsy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet you've seen clumsy tackles by defenders and penalties get given.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean, just because it's clumsy doesn't mean it's not a foul.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse for it not to be a foul.
But,
because you could say that all over the field. Well, that was a clumsy challenge, Right. Yeah. Well, guys can make a living out of doing that.
Yeah.
So.
And, it doesn't take away from the fact that Diaz fouled the back.
Yeah.
Fouled him.
Yeah. In my opinion, he did. Yeah.
That's a free out. It doesn't matter what happened after that. He fouled the back. That's it.
Yeah. I thought Wolves deserved a draw out of that game yesterday.
They did, yeah. They played well enough, and they're a solid team enough, And anyway, they didn't get anything out of that. There was wins for Brighton, Arsenal, Fulham, Man City, Bournemouth, Brentford, Everton, and Liverpool yesterday in the Premiership. And Liverpool, I said, are playing Wednesday night. They're playing Marcus Rashford Wednesday night. They're playing Aston Villa Wednesday night in the league. So we look forward to that. It's on at for people who might want that thing. I think it's kicking off at 7:30. 7:30 Wednesday night. 7:30. Tomorrow night you have the return of the European games. You have Bayern Munich at home, Glasgow Celtic. Would you give Glasgow Celtic any chance? Anyone?
Well, I mean, to be honest, there's always a chance. You just never know.
Yeah.
From the kickoff, Celtic go down and get a penalty, for whatever reason, I don't know. But you would imagine that Bayern Munich would take care of business at the Allianz. And I think it's a very big hill for Celtic to climb to win that game.
Yeah, and then on Wednesday night you have, my team tipped to win the European Cup is PSG. PSG are home to Brest, but they're already through. They're 3-0 up from the away match. So Paris Saint-Germain and Le Bleu, I think they'll slide through that. And Wednesday night in at 8 o'clock as well, you have Real Madrid playing Man City. Now, I mean, obviously, that has the makings of a cracking game, because Man City have no choice, only attack from the start. No choice.
Yeah, I mean, City could pull it off. I mean, you watched them yesterday, or on, what was it, Saturday or Sunday they played this weekend? I can't remember now.
Saturday.
But they looked pretty good on Saturday.
Who are they playing?
Against Newcastle. I mean, they made Newcastle. They made Newcastle look.
Newcastle are Newcastle very hot and cold. One day they look like world beaters. They go out and beat you 4-0, and the next day they're beaten by Preston or someone 1-0.
Well, yeah, I mean, before they beat Arsenal in the League Cup semi-final at St James's, they lost their 2 previous home games in the Premier League. So they can be very inconsistent. So you never know what you're going to get out of them. But certainly, City looked more like the City of old at the weekend, not quite as dominant as they were in the past, but they look like they've got their mojo back a little bit and their swagger.
I have to mention Shamrock Rovers win away in the Conference Europa Conference League 1-0 away by the 16-year-old. He's turned 17 since, I think, but he's only 16. 1-0 they won away, so they're They're out Thursday night in sold out Terrace Stadium against Molde, and it'll be a big night for them. I'm no doubt about it. Next
Well,
Saturday, Rovers.
that was yeah, that was a great result for them, especially on that plastic pitch that they were playing on over
It
there.
was, yeah, it was,
You
yeah.
know, so
I
it,
mean, and he has them playing very well. Everton are playing Man United, Derwynne, Saturday at 12:30. So at least be over early. The pain will be over early.
Yeah, be able to digest it, won't I?
Have you dinner early so that it'll go down all
Yeah,
right?
I won't
Have
be
an
like,
early dinner.
oh no,
All Man United fans have a late breakfast or an early dinner.
I won't be dropping my knife and fork in disgust, will I?
yeah. I mean, this could be trouble for United because this Everton team, since David Moyes has taken them over,
Yeah,
is a much different team. I mean, now they've got guys attacking, they've got guys running behind defenses, and they're not playing in front of people all the time.
They're
They're playing
organised.
cagey. They're actually, they're defending well and counter attacking, and they're doing a very good job of it. So this is going to be a tough game, I think, for United.
There was one player, an ex-Evertonian player, I forget his name, I just saw the tail end of an interview. He was talking about David Moyes the first time he came to Everton. He was a youngish enough player there. He said I thought I knew everything about soccer, tactics and playing and this. When David Moyes came in, he said it was like a completely new game. I
I
was
think
learning all of it. A new game completely, he said,
I
you
think
know?
that's Leon Osman said that.
Yeah, yeah. He said he couldn't believe it. He just could not believe, that this man was and nice, quiet, unassuming, and you know very easily explained to people and what they had to do. He said it's just effortless. The man was. The shame to me of Man United, the shame was they didn't give him the time in Man United. That's the shameful aspect of it, of his
Well,
career.
and it is a shame,
Yeah,
I mean, unfortunately, uh, but I mean, he still remains the last guy to get him to the quarterfinal of the Champions League,
yeah, yeah.
and then, I go back to what Mourinho said about Man United when he was there or after he'd left. And someone asked him, "What do you think the best job you've ever done?" And he said, "Well, he said finishing second with the Man United group that I had was my greatest achievement."
Go ahead.
And he proved to be right because after that they never did anything, and they haven't done
No,
for
The
forever
real
and a day.
There was a real interesting stat came out yesterday during the match. I can't remember who was commentating. I think it was Mowbray or somebody like that. But he was the stat is that in '76 they got relegated,
Mm-hmm.
and United have never been outside the top 10 since relegation. And we're doing really well to be avoiding relegation this year when you look at it.
yeah, yeah,
And
that's true.
it's the first time since 1976 that United won't finish in the top half of Division One or Premier League.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I
But
mean
Well,
you know,
that
the table before the weekend, Liverpool have 60 points, Arsenal have 53, Forest have 47, Man City have 44. They're 16 points behind Isaac. Bournemouth have 43, Chelsea have 43, and Newcastle have 41. That's the Premiership. So it looks like between Liverpool and Arsenal, really, when all is said and done.
oh
Because
yeah, I
I
mean,
think
Man
without doubt,
City, Man City are 16 points
they have
behind.
no chance.
I mean,
Forest, I think, will be fortunate to hang on to
they will, yeah,
the
they
top
will.
four.
Over in the Championship, you have Sheffield United set on 70 points, Leeds United on 69, Burnley 65, Sunderland 62, Blackburn 51, West Brom 48, Coventry on 47, and Bristol City on 46. A win and a draw in the last two matches, so they're doing all right. But that's the Grimsby are 1 point off the promotion place, Joe, and they had a good win, yeah. And, now we have maybe before I forget it, because a lot of people, I know a lot of people. There was a young jockey who got a bad fall in horse racing in Thurles over a week ago, and his name is up there. He's a fellow parishioner of mine, Michael O'Sullivan, just shot of his 25th birthday, and he died last night. And he's a fellow parishioner. I said, I went to school with his granddad, so they're all in the same parish, all the Sullivans, big family, and mad, all mad into horses all the time. Eugene was his father, but we sympathise with the family and all horse racing people, and a lot of the meetings have been cancelled in memory of Michael. He had a couple of winners at Cheltenham as well, last year, and there's Michael Sullivan, very promising jockey, but unfortunately the fall that he had was horrific. I won't give the details because they were horrific. My brother was telling me all about it today on the phone, but anyway, we'll be going down to the funeral tomorrow. Anyway, yesterday I got it on him and fair play and to his family. So, yeah, our neighbours of ours in Lumberstown, there was a piece on the television radio today about him, but just goes to show how fickle sport can be,
I mean, yeah, it can be very dangerous.
Oh my God! When I see a jockey falling in a horse racing, particularly in the steeplechases, I always worry, unless he getting up again,
Oh,
But
I'm telling you, I don't know if any of you have ever been on the back of a horse.
yeah, I have, yeah.
I had a friend in Grimsby. His daughter did some show jumping, and they kept the horse in a field behind their house, and she used to walk it around the village in Tetney every so often. And on this particular day, anyway, Sunday, we had just come out with the plough at Tetney at lunchtime, and Mick says to me, "Why don't you get up on it?" I said, "I've never been on a horse in my life,
Yeah.
So I got up on the back of it, and I swear to God, I've never been more terrified in my life.
In your whole life.
In my whole life, I looked at that and I went, "Holy Jesus! If I fall off of this thing, I'm dead." and that was it. I mean, it's.
You're right, Joe. What people don't realise is the height you're up.
Yeah.
How high up you are, and it's a moving part underneath you.
Yeah. It was.
It's,
I mean, she walked me around the parking lot in the pub.
yeah.
And, I'm telling you, I couldn't wait to get off of it. I was so proud.
And they're beautiful animals, but I mean, I tell you, it's a tough business to be in.
Well, it is a tough business with all. I mean, there's a lot of stuff goes on when there's a pack of horses in there, and all the stuff that goes on with the whips and stuff like that. Yeah,
they're moving at 30 or 40 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and you have 14 horses going the fence, and really, you want to have all your wits about you.
Oh yeah,
just incredible. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's poor Michael. Anyway, Michael O'Sullivan, the jockey, all these organs were done. All these organs were donated as well as Northern donor himself. And my nephew played football with him and with school him and all. Barry O'Shea. Anyway, that's it. That's the thing. But we go on to rugby over the weekend. We had the URC, presumed because there was a break from the Six Nations, and you had the Ospreys were beaten by Leinster 22-19. Ulster were beaten by Benetton 34-19. Munster had a home win here in Thomond Park over the Scarlets 29-8. Connacht beat Cardiff 24-19. And the good news we have today coming out and out of rugby soccer. I don't know what way is it going over there down the near side. Do you remember Eddie Jordan of Jordan Racing?
Yeah, we're London Irish.
London Irish, and I put in my tuppence worth anyway on the feed on social media that they should not in OT in capital not join the Premiership in our rugby Premiership first second division in Britain to be bad for the club. They should join the URC, the United Rugby Championship. You know, that's my own opinion on London Irish. I'm talking about them. You know, they'd have a more universal appeal as well. You know. Because I feel the Premiership in Britain is a busted flush.
It's very sort of geared around the English team, isn't it?
Is that unfair, is it?
No, I don't think it's unfair, but I think the whole of that rugby thing, that is not a level playing field, is it? You know, you've got teams who, like you just said, they really shouldn't be there because they're playing against teams that are full-time professionals.
You can't have that. You can't have that.
You know, Bath, for example, you know, they're on another planet. You've got Northampton, Leicester. They're on different levels compared to even Cardiff, for argument's sake.
Bristol?
Yeah, there's just, it's not a level playing field, is it?
I mean, with the URC, you have franchises from South Africa, franchises from Italy, and so forth, and you have a more of an appeal for, I don't know, that's only my own feeling on it, you know. It'd be nice to see London Irish coming over to Thomond Park playing Munster, you know, for instance. You know, that'd be a good occasion, you know. Eddie Jordan, is a proven winner, a proven go-getter anyway himself, you know. And it's good to see the resurrection of it, you know. I'd love to see, wasn't there at London Welsh as well, do you remember?
Yeah, London Welsh is still, I mean, it's still there.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still a club, but they're sort of like, I don't know how you would want to call it, they're not even semi-pros.
We'd hardly call them a pub team.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got their ground in Richmond.
Yeah?
In Richmond Park, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, it does. I didn't know that, London Welsh. I mean, there's been great matches there between London Welsh and London Irish. And,
I would have been at one time, London Welsh, because you would have had, I mean, they had JPR, they had John Taylor.
They had Jenkins. Did Jenkins stay with them?
Yeah, I mean, they were a massive team at one stage.
They were, yeah. They were. Maybe there's an opening there to resurrect them as well. Anyway, you know, maybe for Welsh rugby to be a good thing. But a lot of Irish internationals came through the London Irish, the London Irish situation down through the years, you know. Excuse me. Anyway, you had the golf over the weekend as well. You had the Genesis Invitational. When they say it's sponsored by Tiger Woods, does he put the money into it, or what's the story?
It's not sponsored. It's, you know, you got the British Masters over here, which is Faldo. They're not putting money in it. They're just using the name to get sponsors.
Oh, I have you.
Yeah, I mean, Genesis is a car company.
Yeah.
And Woods is sponsored by him. It used to be a one-time Buick.
Oh yeah, Buick, the Buick International.
Yeah. So I mean, all they're doing is they're using a X amount. Both tours now are using certain pros for just for advertising, really.
Now it's good for European golf in the Ryder Cup here because McIlroy and Lowry were first and second in the last PGA tournament, as we know, in the Pebble Beach, and now we have Ludwig Åberg winning the Genesis Invitational at minus 12, 74, 76, 70, and 66. He finished $4 million he got for his weekend work, $1 million a day. Nice dash. Seamus Power was the best of the Irish. He finished at minus 2, 69, 73, 74, and 70, and he got $165,000. That's all right. Shane Lowry finished down the field a bit at plus 2, $82,000. And to be sneezed at, but never there was big money. It's a big tournament, lads. Very big. Scotty Scheffler
Yeah.
finished, I think, finished 4 back from the lead, and played some lovely golf. I saw Scheffler, but McIlroy was a bit done.
He's a good player, that Aberg, as well.
He is, yeah. Cool dude. A cool
he
dude.
played Ryder Cup last time round.
He did play again. I beat him. He made the Ryder Cup team again this year. There's no doubt about it. Live Golf were down in Adelaide the weekend, and Joachim Neiman won their tournament, and he got $4 million as well for his weekend. He finished at -13. There are only 3 rounds in that in Live Golf. 3 rounds.
Last round.
And the runners-up were Answer and Ortiz. I saw a bit of that. They are 2 cracking players, I tell you. Absolutely fabulous players. Carlos Ortiz and Answer,
Yeah,
dear. Tom McKibben finished there at $500,000 for his -6. Tom McKibben. So he's last 2 Live tournaments. He's made enough money in 2 tournaments to retire. What do you think? Unbelievable. The ladies' European tour were over in Saudi Arabia, and they're promising Athenia Titikal from Thailand. She won at a -16. She got 650,000 for her weekend.
The name again, Pat? You said it so well.
You always caught me at that.
He'll have to go to confession after that.
I have a cigarette match in my tooth. You have to put it in to say her name. So it's the cigarette match is falling out. So the Welsh Open as well happened the weekend in Stuker, where Stephen Maguire made a comeback and made it all the way to the final against Mark Selby, but Selby prevailed in the end. It was a cracking final. 9-6 he won, and won 100,000 for his troubles as Mark Selby. It's nice to see Steve Maguire back again. He's lost a bit of weight, Steve Maguire. He looks healthy enough to me now. He didn't look well last year. I think he's decided to take it more serious. I hope I'm not wrong in the man, but that's the way it looked to me. But getting back to Man United, they're only what 7 or 9 points above the relegation. 9 points, I think, off the top of my head.
I'm. You read about United. I'm not sure about all this Ineos thing, to be honest. I mean, he's just offloaded another 150 staff.
Who?
Richardson. He's just offloaded another 150 staff from Man United.
Yeah.
I think that's now got it something silly now. It's something like 600 people have lost their jobs at Man United.
Man United are on 29 points. They're in 15th place. They have a -7 goal difference, and they're 12 points above Ipswich Town, who are in the bottom 3. They're 10 points above Wolves, who are on 19 points. West Ham are 27, and Man United are 29, and Everton, Crystal Palace, and Spurs all have 30 points. So it's the bottom of the league, and the last 6 matches they've lost 3, won 2, and drawn 1. That's Man United. So
Joe, I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Ineos have brought in that David Brailsford, or whatever his name is. And I know what he did with Sky Cycling and all that stuff, and what he's done with British cycling in the Olympics. And to me, and I'm on the outside looking in here, so I see it that I think footballers still look for someone who's played the game or has got some background in it, if that makes sense. A bit of respect to him, if that makes sense. Whereas I think that Brailsford's making decisions at United which if he's in there for the finance side of it, crack on. But if you're in there making sort of decisions around about football, because he knows about the square root of nothing about football. And as much as everybody goes, we've seen it with Clive Woodward, where he went into Southampton to do it.
I was just going to say that.
I sit there and I kind of go, well, I understand lots, you understand lots about the psychology of sport, but mine's totally about golf, whereas yours totally about football.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see you and me swapping to go and talk to a group of golf pros about various situations in the golf around the golf. The same as you couldn't go and talk to Man United players at Carrington and go, I think you should do this, because they would ask me how many goals did you score in the first division then, or
right. And I honest to God, I really don't believe that you can cross over sports.
No,
not at the highest level. You cannot.
Not at the highest level. I agree with you there.
You really can't, and you're right about it. No, I mean, you could come over to a Premiership dressing room, and you could talk to the players, before a big game and what have you, and you could talk about your experiences in golf.
Yes.
Same as I could come over to a golf group and talk about my experiences in soccer, but I'm not bringing anything other than lightening the atmosphere and a bit of fun to it.
Yeah.
But as far as me making any positive
policy
correction, no, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. And I felt the same way with Brailsford. I have no idea what his input is, what he's trying to do. And it just, I just have no idea about the whole thing. The only thing I can, I can see with Barada and Jason Wilcox, two guys that are football guys, who I hope that they are making more of the decisions than the other guy. But I just don't see what Brailsford brings to it. I really don't. I mean, and we're talking about cycling being a whole different a whole different sport there, and all the things that we know that went on in cycling, in performance stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So you just wouldn't get away with that in football. That doesn't work.
Now, if Man United are beaten Saturday by Everton, I mean, it's all very fine saying that he doesn't have this and he doesn't have that and he doesn't have something. The manager has to take some responsibility. We all feel sorry for someone who is thrown into the deep end, and then, of course, there's injuries, and then there's discontent, and there's players gone out of the club, I see Amorim is after scoring a couple of goals for Real Betis. Not Amorim, what's the fella with Real Betis? Oh, God. He got 2 goals from an old weekend.
Yeah, but you've only got to look what's happened with Scott Tominay.
Yeah.
He's like a sensation in Italy.
Yeah.
And
so
they got rid of him.
Yeah, but that was just a money decision, because he was one of the only ones that could sell, and to balance their spending and what have you. And that's why we're talking about Garnacho going and Matt Menu to try and balance things, because I think everyone there realizes they have to have a complete rebuild of that. And how are they going?
This is going to take 3 to 5 years rebuilding at Man United.
If they're very lucky, it'll happen.
At least that, and as well as that, you wonder now with the Premier League itself, who's in charge of the Premier League after the court decision? Man City seem to be in charge now of the Premier League.
Well,
And they're lawyers. They seem to be in charge of the Premier League now. What they say
well,
goes.
they, I mean, it's not City or not. It's attorneys that are in charge of it because
Legally.
the outside people are making it.
Yeah,
Killing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the ones that are doing it, and they're just drawing this thing out for as long as they can, and they're a lot of it. I believe are just frivolous things that they're trying to do to delay the process and the whole thing. So Darren, it's interesting what you said earlier. United of all these young players, and he had them all with him at the weekend. So this is a bit like when they got relegated under under Tommy Docherty,
yeah,
and then they brought in all the young guys, the likes of
yeah,
Jerry Daly and Mick Martin, Paddy
yeah.
Roach, guys like that, and they had this team of players that were they were all good players and they were all fearless. you know
Yeah.
so do you you know do you take the chance now at this stage of the season and start
Well,
playing
yeah.
these
Well,
younger
Joe.
guys?
No,
Well,
they're not going anywhere, only down at the moment, and they can only go down. So they can go up with a few
I,
young players.
I,
Right.
you're sitting there and you think to yourself, well, you've taken them. You've got Casemiro, who is basically his legs are gone, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
And they're playing. Fernandez had a shocker yesterday, and you're sitting there thinking, well, if these 7 young lads are good enough to be on the bench,
Put them on the team.
why aren't you just throwing them in? Because at some stage they're going to have to sink
Play
or
them.
right.
Well, I thought Harry Maguire had a solid game yesterday.
I mean, to be honest, Harry Maguire is a very solid player. I
He
mean,
does what he
when
does, doesn't he?
he does, he does. He's a good organizer. He's a good,
Yeah.
strong defender, but he has to have people around him that
Well, he
can
does.
cover him, and
Yeah.
he needs a bit of help from the defensive midfield players to not have guys coming
Was
at
he the
him at
first?
one
Was he the
point.
first? Was he the first United player to have a shot on goal from a header in the
At
match?
the weekend,
Yeah, I think he was.
I think someone said that
I
he
think.
was.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
As in
you
one on
know,
target.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
Garnacho.
Oh God,
I mean
please, please.
that was a big miss, wasn't it?
Oh, lead behind the ear, lead behind the ear, straight
as
away.
as one of my buddies used to say, he couldn't hit a cow's butt with a shovel from 2 feet.
Couldn't you?
Yeah.
Cows up.
That was the way it was yesterday. It seemed that way. So, and again, that we're being critical of young guys that are not being helped by
The
experienced
team,
pros that should
by the
be
team, by the team.
by the team
That's a
themselves.
fair, that's a fair point.
You look at it, a young kid like that, and is he trying to take too much on his own shoulders, trying to help the team? And he probably is, and his game is probably suffering from it because Cristiano Ronaldo was the same when he first went to United.
Yeah.
If anyone cares, everyone remembers the glory days, but very few people remember back to when he was the showboater and the step over
Oh, they
king.
were going mental. Keane was
Yeah,
at him all the time, wasn't it?
yeah.
They were going mental, is right. They were just
Yeah.
absolutely having a nightmare.
But
So
when you look at it, to me, Casemiro and Fernandez, you'd think they'd be trying to get it by the scruff of the neck and boss it around. But they go. I mean, Fernandez to me goes missing when he's not into it. He just goes missing out there.
Well, he's not that kind of a leader,
No.
And I don't know if we mentioned this before, but I read an article and I saw it again the other day about Jose Mourinho talking about the difference between a captain and a leader.
Yeah.
And just because you're a captain doesn't mean you're a leader. And
Yeah.
just because you're a great leader doesn't mean you're a captain. But you need people in the team that are like captains, that are leaders. They take charge of a
I mean,
situation.
looking at Man United and weekends, who stood out? Who was orchestrating the team on the pitch? Nobody.
No, no. Well, I mean, it, and I see in the paper today, reading this morning, Casemiro wants to see his contract out at United. Well, who wouldn't want to see their contract out at 350 grand a week? You know, so that's
The
so
top two in the championship. That's Leeds and Sunderland are playing tonight in the championship, and it's coming up to half time. For all you Leeds United fans there, and our former colleague John Lanigan, who might turn up at the programme some night again with us. John is a Leeds fanatic, Leeds United fan.
fanatic man. Yeah,
Yeah,
how's he doing?
they're losing 1-0 at half time in Elland Road. So Sunderland are winning 1-0 at half time.
How is John doing? We haven't seen him forever.
John is a carer now for his wife, and
Wait.
so John's time is taken up very much with that, and so I phone him nearly every second week, and he said I send him the stuff all the time, but he said there'll be times when I'll have downtime. I don't know when I'll have downtime. Do you know what I mean? He's that's the way I know what it is when we were minding my mum that time, myself, my brother, and so it's you just don't know,
Right.
When you have downtime, you want to put your feet up.
Yeah. Well,
Because it's so
you're
stressful,
right there. Yeah.
It's so stressful,
It's a full-time business taking care of a
It
person.
looks like Leeds and Sunderland could be back in the Premiership. I love that. Two traditional teams.
Yeah. That would be great. That
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah.
Who
I
else
hope
is
that-
Burnley are in the running?
Well, Leeds are a point behind Sunderland in the table before the match tonight. So oh no, sorry, Sheffield United are top. If Sunderland win tonight, they'll be in third. So you have Sheffield United, Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland, and Blackburn top five, and West Brom, Coventry, and Bristol City. They're all in the hunt for promotion. There's a lot of old Coventry haven't been up for a while. Coventry City.
No.
Yeah, they
No.
haven't been up.
And Frank Lampard is the manager there.
Yeah, they're doing very well.
They're doing very well.
There's a great buzz. There's a great buzz about the club, and they're getting very good attendances as well. There's no doubt about that. And we have. Okay, guys, we need bets now for the weekend. The Wales will hardly beat Ireland rugby, Derwynne, will they?
There is a phrase I'd use, but I can't really say it live.
Yeah, I know.
I think
we've already had one going that way.
As long as my backside points down.
You'd say Wales are completely, and it begins with an F and it ends with a D. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if Wales beat Ireland.
And then you have
Joe. I think you need to take some more tablets or something.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you just never know on a game that they've just got a new coaching. And that's kind of that kind of gives you
well, I must say, in Wales' defence, and I'm not an expert in all of it, they have a few nice players in their defence. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the fact that rugby is totally, or not totally, but very much disorganised in Wales is not the fault of the players, It's not singly the fault of the players.
Well, he's brought some players back that Gatland had basically sidelined.
Yeah.
So Gareth Anscombe's back in. There's a couple of the old players that are back in for some experience again, and Skerritt has been allowed to get rid of Howley and bring his own coaches in.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be Wales and Ireland. Ireland are overwhelming favourites. You can't back them in the bookies. And then England and Scotland, I think, will be a tighter game. You know, it always is.
Well, there's only one game in Wales that they all want to win this season, and there's only one that they're interested in, and that would be
That's England.
England in the last game. England.
Well, it would be. It would be. Well, it would make it better still if England were going for the Slam or the Championship, and
Yeah.
Wales beat them by a point, which they often did.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
That-
I'd say, yeah.
that could but just about save any kind of
Well,
season.
they're back on television on Saturday. They're back-to-back matches. Is Ireland, Wales are first, and then England and Scotland. So all I say is, have your spam sandwiches all made up, and your pot of black tea ready beside them, and off you go for today.
But,
anyway,
yeah. But
anyway,
speaking of you spoke about earlier with the young jockey that
yeah, Mike
that passed
O'Sullivan.
away. I saw. I don't know if you've heard the news or saw it on Facebook or what have you. But one of your men, great Cork Celtic man, Christy Egan. Christy played on the wing for Celtic back in the day, and actually when he moved to Derby County for £30,000 or something like that, and he saved Celtic from going Glasgow or Cork Celtic from going out of business at the time. And I just saw it posted on Facebook this morning that Christy just passed away.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he and I played together on the Irish youth team.
Oh my God!
That played in Spain for the European Championships years ago. So yeah, so sad day for Limerick soccer. Fine player, and a great guy.
In the 1973-74 season, Cork Celtic won their only League of Ireland title, you know, and Christy, Paul and Christy Egan's thing, I think to that stage, you know, and Paddy Short, Bobby Tambling, remember Tony Leahy, do you remember any names there?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of some of the other lads that played for.
And Bobby Tambling goal scoring record still till 2013 when it was broken by Frank Lampard, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Bobby Tambling living in Ireland?
Bobby Tambling, I think he is. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he lives up in Sligo or somewhere like that. But I
sure
remember him coming over. His wife brought him over. He wasn't well at the time, but he went over to Stamford Bridge for I don't know whether it was when to recognise Frank when he broke the record or what it was, but he was over there. Yeah. So yeah.
Alfie Hale was with Celtic then, I think. I'm not too sure. But what we'll do, I'll put together a piece for next week on Christy Egan, is it?
Yeah.
Christy Egan. Put together next week, Christy Egan.
I'm not sure if Christy even played for. I'm not sure he went to Limerick first and then down to Celtic, but I think he was a Fairview man. I think he played for Fairview.
Talking about Fairview, forgot to mention the Irish Junior Soccer Cup. There's only the last of the Clare teams were beaten over the weekend. Avenue United were beaten 2-0 by North End, who won it a couple of years ago when they beat Fife Rovers in the final. They're back in the quarter-final again. There's two Limerick teams in the quarter-finals. There's Fairview Rangers and Jamesborough are left in the quarter-finals. Funnily enough, if they both progress, they'll both meet each other in the semi-final. That's Jamesborough and Fairview. If they win their quarter-finals, they'll be meeting in the semi-final. So there you go now. It'll be out for us there. Well, it's great. So anyway, lads, we've come to the end of another night, and we don't want to be coming across as Manchester United bashing, and we don't do it on purpose either, Derwynne, just in case. But they're such a big club that any big club that's in crisis, you try and analyse and make suggestions how they can get out of it. But anyway, take good care of yourself, Anna, and we miss you. And it's better to be lucky than good. And onwards and upwards to Liverpool. We look forward to Aston Villa and Marcus Rashford wins tonight. Liverpool and Everton and Man United next Saturday. So from Joe Waters, from Derwynne, and from myself, Pat, we'll meet again, lads. Take care and have a good week.
See you,
Good night,
boys.
lads. Take care.
Yeah.